Welcome to Dancing with Time, hosted by Beth Amin and me, Patti Teal. This podcast is all about self-care, inspiring and supporting each other to live our essential nature, which is timeless. I'm not young, I'm not old, I just am. Join us for conversation, movement, and meditation. Let's get started.
Hi, everyone. So glad to have you back for episode 2 of Time Out with the Twins. There's my twin over there, Patti, who is on the opposite coast, but here we are together, and we're so happy to have you back. I hope you enjoyed our last episode. And as always, this podcast is framed around self-love, self-care, self-knowledge, and really that beautiful connection that we all have to the life that's bigger than we are, and so that every moment becomes a joy of connection of some part. We're really alive in the moment. And Patti and I just every week we're going to talk spontaneously on things that just come up in our lives. So they're both spiritual growth, and they're also just like the day-to-day things. They are the same that come up. And Patti, I think we had a topic when we were just talking briefly yesterday, right? And
We did.
Yeah.
And it's procrastination.
And so what brought that up? Why were you, why did you bring that up?
Why did that come up? I know you accidentally called it procrastination, which I thought was kind of brilliant and could be a new word, but I can't remember exactly how in the conversation
that putting off that you were just saying you were having trouble procrastinating a bunch of things that, putting it off. And then I think I said, well, I've just been listening to this Abraham Hicks where Esther, who is if you haven't listened to them, she channels wisdom that is really, we think simple and brilliant. And she just said, it's a kind of procrastination is essentially a kind of wisdom, which really goes against everything that we've been taught, because we're taught to do doers and get the job done and go down the list and check all the things off. And she said, if you're not in alignment with the task that you're doing, you don't want to do it. It may be that the timing's wrong. Right. And that's something we never think. Don't force it. Go ahead, Patti. What were you going to say about that?
I just listened to a YouTube video on the subject before a podcast, and it was the wisdom to not try to force something that you're not vibrationally ready for. So you're not in the mood to do your paperwork at that moment, but you are in the mood to walk your dog. Walk your dog.
And then walking your dog may put you in the mood to do your paperwork. And it goes back to that deeper subject of self-connection. And I think that, which is something that we do over that connection, like I'd rather get 5 more things done on my list. And I'm the choir. I'm preaching to the choir because I am a chronic overworker, overachiever, or I was. I'm not going to say that I am so much now at the moment. I think the 2 years of the pandemic really helped in a way. I had to slow down a lot, and you have a little more time to go like, what's valuable to me? What is valuable? And am I, and there's that fine line between getting done what you essentially have to do and also being inspired to do what you have to do, or fully engaged, which makes life pleasurable, right?
Right. Like you gave an example when we were talking earlier. You can't procrastinate on going to pick up your kids from school. You just can't do it.
Yeah, there's certain things. I'll do it tomorrow.
Wasn't in the mood.
Wasn't in the mood.
Right. But you going to use your creativity and painting rather than doing your paperwork, I'm sure that was a great choice for you.
Well, the thing is that, and granted, I have the opportunity since I'm self-employed, I can choose which tasks to do, but there were things that, quote, had to be done yesterday, but I haven't painted in a long time. I was an avid painter and made a professional for 40 years, and I haven't been lately, and had this inspiration to paint the entryway, and rather than do it, that was just yesterday. I think that got us on the topic of procrastination too. And in the moment, I was just completely fulfilled because it's very challenging. You have to focus deeply with everything you have, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And somehow it fed me in such a deep way that I felt more able to do some of the tasks that I had to do. It was easy. I wasn't resisting. I made the
Right.
phone calls that I needed to make. It was just like bam, bam, bam. So it's a fine balance of self-exploration, just like, I guess, finding the foods that are right for you. You know, you're exploring when to please your inner longings and
Right.
listen and so forth, right? Yes.
I think so. And I think prioritizing is really helpful. So
Oh,
sometimes you
yes. So
might
the
have a
things, yeah.
list with 30 things, but you can kind of take that list, spend some time and look at it and go, this is the one thing I have to get done. If I
Mm-hmm.
don't get these other things done, the world is not going to come to an end. You know, it's going to be okay. So I can go do some things that I may feel like doing that bring me joy. And if you try to force a task that you're not in the mood for, as Esther Hicks would say, or you're not vibrationally aligned with, it will take you longer. You know, it might have more errors. It won't be as good. And you can just zip it off if you're in the frame of mind and vibrationally ready to go do it.
Yeah. And then it comes easily, and it's not, you don't get results if you're really forcing something. Sorry. Patti, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking, what do you think about this drive to do things? Is that cultural? Is that how we gain our value? Like, you're not supposed to be lazy, and you're supposed to be, your value arrives from how much you're doing. So for any of us to stop, we feel like, is somebody going to pressure us from the outside? Like I mean, is that motivated by, let me just have a sip of water. Is that motivated by cultural paradigm, do you think, that we are so trained to
I
not
do feel like
listen?
it's changing a little bit. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong, but I do feel like it used to be sitting around daydreaming was thought of in a negative way. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know, it seems with a big focus on meditation and visualization, which are so powerful and such powerful tools actually for accomplishing what you want in life or having it happen. I
Yeah.
think it's changing a bit, but there is a temptation to, even as parents, my kids are grown, but they're looking, see them lying on the couch and going, gosh, why aren't you out doing something? So there
Mm-hmm.
is some of that culturally. And I think some cultures are um, even harder with their kids than Americans. I think it's just interesting the way we think about wasting time.
Yeah. Yes, I know. And some cultures are more relaxed. I
Hmm.
mean, and
Right.
that's, I
In
know I
some
went to,
households, it's very, different from family to family.
yeah. So I guess it's one of those things that is our choice again,
Right. You have
just to
to
listen.
think about maybe pushing our kids a little bit too hard too. When I was young and I was in the Midwest, we could go run out and play till it got dark, but now because we don't maybe feel safe letting our kids, run to a neighbor's or doing this or that, we structure everything for them. And then, well, can't skip that piano lesson,
Yeah,
can't
that's
skip that
true.
gymnastic lesson. And so there you go. They have such structured lives that maybe they're not having enough time to be kids. Same
Yeah,
as us, same as
yeah,
adults. Yeah.
yeah. That's why I always recommend art making too. It's so relaxing. Yeah, and that's why I've taught art so much, using that kit that I have, where anybody's brilliant at it, and it really focuses you in the moment, and it teaches you to feel your internal world moment to moment. And that is so important. So I guess my takeaway from my own day yesterday was to give myself permission to do what I feel at least once a day, and take the time to even notice what I'm feeling, what I'd love to
Right.
do. And
Right.
I'd love to, I'm really feeling like I'd like to, I feel like I'd like to move today. I feel like I want some air. I want some nature, and just go like, hey, I'm going to focus on that feeling. And then I think you mentioned that too. A lot of times inspiration will come in those
Sometimes,
points.
yeah, those fleeting thoughts are really our intuition,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to ignore them. But if you think about somebody, call them, so That's the opposite of procrastination. You could say, well, I'm too
Yeah.
busy, I can't do it. But, when you do think about things or people, it's probably because it's time to check in.
Yeah. And that's the path of least resistance right there. I know, it feels so good that, making I have to, I have to, I have to. Sometimes I do that too. And I have to make calls. I'll do something else. And then it kind of gets you in the mood. And then you go, then it's not so challenging. So that's all part of self-care and taking care of yourself
Right.
too.
And there may
It's
be
very
a level,
loving.
a level of perfectionism involved too, because if I can't do it just right, I'm not going to do it until I have enough time to do it perfectly, so I can procrastinate for that reason as well, because it's not going to be good enough unless I take all this time, but just do something with it. So
exactly. That's a good point too. And, many of us are plagued with that little thing, but when you realize nothing's perfect and you never get it all done, I guess it's that you're like, okay, then.
Valentine's Day was yesterday, and I hope everybody feels very appreciated and loved. I have my roses behind me to show you. My son got me roses, and my husband was so very cute. He got me 2 Valentine's cards. He gave them to me actually the night before, and he's had a brain injury among other problems, and so it was so sweet. I think my daughter took him out to get them, but that he did that, and then he forgot. He gave them to me. He gave them to me a second time, and I felt very loved. Then my daughter brought home dinner from a restaurant. So I know we don't need all these things, but it sure does feel good to be appreciated.
Oh, appreciation is the best. That is the best thing. In fact, that's another, that's an aside. The more you appreciate, it said, and I believe it, the more you appreciate during the day, just the better and better and better your life becomes. Because those things that appreciate escalate, and becomes more to appreciate. So, well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate all our listeners. And soon we'll have a place for you to give us your feedback every week. Like, what are your feelings about procrastination? Is it wisdom? Is it really a kind of wisdom, or is it just what are your thoughts as we open up that discussion about getting things done and still following your inner world and your inner life and being as kind to yourself as you can? So
absolutely. And if you're watching on YouTube, give us a comment, give us your ideas, and we will definitely share them until we're having more live chats,
which will be coming up soon. So there we have it. And we'd love now for you to do a little bit of movement and a little bit of meditation, 2 of the best practices in the world to keep you in the moment and keep you happy and tone down from the manic thoughts that we all have all the time. So coming up right now, we'll do a little joyous movement, and then we'll hear Patti do a meditation that coordinates with our theme today. So Patti, shall I take it over with a little bit of
that would be wonderful. I'm going to be ready
a little bit of movement
right along with you.
Hello everyone, and welcome to some joyous movement. We're going to do just a few minutes right here of some gentle stretching and a little bit of toning into our body and our own wonderful reality, experiencing life in the moment. So here we go. So I'd like you to start with gently moving from one side to the other. Now, if you're seated, you can also do this movement in your chair with or without the use of your legs. And I'm just gently swaying from one side to the other, moving my upper body, allowing my elbows to be free, and just having my hands start to lift a little bit and move from side to side in this nice sweeping motion. Now let's just be aware of our breath. We're breathing in a bit and breathing out, pulling in our tummies, lifting our chest, and having that wonderful feel of what it's like to experience life in a fabulous form, side to side. Now let's make that just a little bit bigger. I'm slightly bending my knees as I'm pulling my upper body to the side walls. Good. All right, now lower your arms, allow your head to relax, and we're just going to gently down the side of our bodies as we begin to stretch, our sides and allow a little bit more movement, a little bit of life to come all the way through. Great. Okay, now plant your feet, and we're going to take that ever important giant breath in, reaching as tall as you can, and then coming forward down. And notice I'm still shifting my weight because I still want to be in that fabulous rhythm of being alive. So that never-ending flow as we move forward and forward and forward, and maybe nowhere at all, but breathing in as big as you can and breathing out. This is one of the most important things you can do every day and periodically during your day. This simple movement offers so much. Breathing in, looking up, breathing out, looking down. Good. Now let's just add a little bit more rhythm by lifting our feet as we shift our weight from side to side and allowing our hands to go to the same side as the foot that we're working with. And you can even take that fabulous little walk into the room. Hello. Hi, everybody. And back. And notice I'm just doing a gentle figure 8 pressing motion with my hands as I gently move from side to side. Getting a little bit of rhythm in my body. And breathing in and out. Now, just a nice swing and a sway from one side to the other. Again, being very conscious of having your core muscles pulled in and your chest slightly lifted so that we can fill our bodies with air. Back to our breathing, opening up, touching the fingertips, coming down. We kept our rhythm from side to side the whole time, looking up, coming down, and now let's stabilize our feet and breathe in and let it out. And one more breath, if you can, coming down your legs, only as far as is comfortable. If this is as far as you want to go, great. If you can do a little bit further, letting your hands guide yourself on your legs, allowing your back to relax, and rolling up one vertebrae at a time, if that feels good. All the way up and your neck is relaxed. Now, if that's too much, you can just roll down this far and round up. And you can also do that in your chair if you're seated. Okay, let's take a nice deep breath together. Breathing in all the way up and breathing out. And there we have it. A short segment of joyous movement that you can do throughout your day. I'm Beth Amin, and this is our podcast, Time Out with the Twins, and I'm thrilled that you're here. Mwah! Have a great rest of your day.
Sit or lie down. If you're comfortable doing so, you can sit cross-legged on the floor or you can sit in a chair. Either way, keep your spine straight. If it feels better to you, lie down on the floor. Whether you're sitting or lying down, keep your palms facing upward. Take a few minutes to relax your body. Start with your toes and mentally work your way upward until you're entirely relaxed from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, feel your entire body relax. Take a few more deep breaths in, and as you breathe out, your entire body surrenders into a feeling of peace and relaxation. Nothing is more important than taking care of yourself, right here and right now. In this relaxed state, without self-blame or judgment, think of something you've been putting off. Think of the reasons why you've been putting it off. Now think of why you'd like to get it done. Which is more compelling? You can choose how to spend your time. If something is important to you, you can make it happen. If it's not, you can let it go for now. Visualize yourself finishing a project you want to complete. Imagine yourself smiling and having fun as you dig into the task. When your mission is accomplished, how does it feel to have it off your plate? Visualize yourself enjoying a walk around town or in a park after you've completed the task. Imagine rewarding yourself with food, a massage, or a favorite activity when you're finished. What do you see, hear, smell, and taste when you reward yourself for getting your project done? Now, spend a few minutes silently repeating to yourself, "I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to do this." Take in the full meaning of the words and how it feels to say this to yourself. You're on your way. Revel in the good feeling of accomplishing your goals. Relax and dream for as long as you'd like. When you're ready, open your eyes. Smile to yourself. Start the project now, or set a date and time to start on it within the week.